Might as well start with this because, well, for God's sake, this guy. Okay. Let me just say, coming up in the next few minutes, you're going to hear people as far and wide as Mr. Sterling in his own words, but you're also going to hear from Charles Barkley, you're going to hear from Magic Johnson, and you're going to hear from Donald Trump in his own words on this. The Trumpster has weighed in on this issue.
Oh, I can't wait to hear.
Okay, I just want to say one thing. I just want to say one thing to Mr. Sterling before we get started. Now, whatever your political inclinations are or backwards sociological thoughts, whatever, and we all have something that, if we discussed it, everybody has at least one thought, and it may not be about ethnicities, it may just about something that if you ever said it out loud, people would go, oh my God.
Like, I swear to God, I think he had an old pile of All in the Family scripts and was reading Archie Bunker lines.
Well, we'll play some of this because I don't understand it, but I just want to say that Mr. Sterling gets what he deserves with this chick. That is what I would like. This is the most obvious case of gold digging. Just is hanging. Have you seen this Sterling guy?
Oh man.
Have you seen the pictures of this woman who is the purported leaker? And it is as Rod Majors says, it's a snail on a lily right there is what it is.
Wow.
Oh my God. It's like, this is it.
I don't know, man. It's more like a snake on a lily.
It is,
what's going on there?
It is weird. And so he's like, I can't believe that she would release these tapes. And we don't know for sure that she's the one that released the tapes. I think her lawyers are denying it right now. But really, what was he anticipating he was going to get from there? He's a broken down, not attractive, bitter, old, weird man. And all of a sudden, this hot young thing is all interested in him? What do you think that's all about?
Like that worldly knowledge he has and experience to regale her with stories of what it was like back in the days of separate drinking fountains. The good old days. Or she calls them the good old days.
Oh, my gosh. All right, well, let's start. I do think it was very artful how Rush was able to blame this on Barack Obama, but
Perfect.
That was very artful.
And that's Sandra Fluck.
Here is the Sterling character. Let's just run through some of these and digest them as they come here.
What's wrong with minorities? What's wrong with black people?
Nothing.
What's wrong with these
It's
families?
like talking to an enemy. There's nothing wrong with minorities. They're fabulous.
Okay.
It's like talking to the enemy, and they said there's nothing wrong, right?
I think he's referring to her, by the way, when he says it's like talking to the enemy.
Well, he was the initial source of this was a picture she Instagram of her and Magic Johnson, right? That's what he got all worked up about.
Yeah. Continues.
I want you to love them privately. In your whole life, every day you could be with them. Every single day of your life.
But not in public?
But why publicize it on the Instagram and why bring it to my games?
How drunk do you think this guy is right here?
What do you think Blake Griffin's going to see? Oh, never mind.
People call you and tell you that I have black people on my Instagram, and it bothers you.
Yeah, it bothers me a lot that you want to broadcast that you're associating with black people. You have to.
You associate with black people.
I'm not you and you're not me. You're supposed to be a delicate white or a delicate Latina girl.
I'm a mixed girl.
Okay. Well,
and you're in love with me.
Right. She's black and Hispanic, right? Isn't that sort of her?
Yeah, she
calls herself V with just a period after it. Which
she doesn't have a real name.
If you've ever seen a V with a period after it, stay clear for 3 days. But the thing is, there's no place for that kind of humor. I was just illustrating that. Yeah, she's V Stiviano, I believe. Just the initial V.
Okay.
Period.
She's V. She's V. Mm-hmm. Okay.
She thought about calling herself VTNA, but just thought just the V would be good enough.
You go to Israel, the blacks are just treated like dogs.
So do you have to treat them like that too?
The white Jews, there's white Jews and black Jews. You understand?
And are the black Jews less than the white Jews?
100%, 50, 100%.
And is that right?
It isn't a question. We don't evaluate what's right and wrong. We live in a society. We live in a culture. We have to live within that culture.
Wow.
Huh? Learning a lot.
Wow. You know, I wonder if V is friends with Oksana, Mel Gibson's ex, because she's trained in the art of telephone prodding of racist jackals. Right? I mean, it's a very specific category, but it's the same kind of thing.
It does feel.
You need the medication, Mel.
Yeah.
I hope you get by a pack of I want you to come over here and
All right. Well, Mr. Sterling apparently not very happy about this.
I want you to love them privately. In your whole life, every day you could be with them. Every single day of your life.
But not in public?
But why publicize it on the Instagram and why bring it to my games?
Oh, we did hear that one, right? I'm sorry. This is the one where he's getting.
I think it's nice that you admire him. I know him well, and he should be admired. And I'm just saying that it's too bad you can't admire him privately and during your entire life, your whole life, admire him. Bring him here, feed him, him. I don't care. You can do anything. But don't put him on an Instagram so the world has to see, so they have to call me.
I was telling my friends Doc Rivers and Chris Paul. This is terrible.
Who's calling? I think, you know what I think the problem is here? I think patient zero here is the guy who called him. Who's like, did you see? Hey, Sterling. Did you see who your girlfriend took to the game? She took that Magic Johnson, who is arguably one of the most beloved Americans alive today. Would you? I mean, he's got to be. He's got to be in the
Everywhere
top
he goes,
20.
people are lining up to get their Instagram picture
Right.
with him. He can't get away from it.
He's going to be in Gary, Indiana tonight, actually.
Right. We called him. We asked him to come on the show and talk about this. He goes, no, I've got better things to do. But he's
Which includes going to Gary, Indiana.
right. Well, he's got a business venture, right?
Yeah.
That he's promoting.
Which is great.
And it's been great. I mean,
He's been a Hall of Fame businessman after a Hall of Fame basketball career.
changed the world in so many ways, in so many positive ways. I mean, if you're gonna go after a guy, the patron saint of business and
It's not like she was
basketball.
sharing a big splib with Chief Keef on the Instagram.
All right, more of him and Trump's reaction after this.
Oh.
All right, back to the Sterling tapes, and they are Sterling, aren't they? For comedic purposes. All right, we continue on this. Now he's still a little unclear. Is he at her house, at his house? I don't even know. But there's a woman out that's come out today who claims that the Sterling guy often asked that he be recorded because he would often forget things that he had said, and would come up with ideas and he wanted to know what they were.
Okay.
Sounds to me like he may have a little bit of a drinky poo problem.
Well, he may have got to get that from Nixon, I think. That was a good way to take
Yeah.
everything.
Well, he may want to if that is in fact the case, he may want to rethink this. But my sense is that maybe that's not the case. The way she's like goading him along here. But we continue on. This is about again. This goes back to he was mad that she took Magic Johnson or was with Magic Johnson at a game and then put it on Instagram, broadcast to the world that she was with a black guy.
How about your whole life? Every day, you could do whatever you want. You could sleep with him. You could bring him in. You could do whatever you want. The little I ask you is not to promote it on that and not to bring him to my games.
I don't bring anyone to the game.
Okay, then. There's nothing to argue about.
It's the oddest.
Just don't like them out loud.
It's so hard to get inside the jigsaw puzzle of a mind, a guy like that. But that's what he was worried about, or bringing him to the games.
Racism still is alive.
No, but there's a culture.
What
People feel certain things. Hispanics feel certain things towards blacks. Blacks feel certain things towards other groups. It's been that way historically, and it will always be that way.
But it's not that way in my heart and in my mind.
But maybe you want to adjust to the world.
That's
You know, he sounds like
the old world.
He sounds like drunk uncle.
Waiting for him to say, and another thing.
Oh, yeah.
Saturday Night
Please
Live.
somebody says that.
Yeah, he does. Actually.
All right.
Do you know that you have a whole team that's black that plays for you?
Do I know? I support them and give them food and clothes and cars and houses. Who gives it to them? Does someone else give it to them?
I love the idea that he's giving it to them.
Yeah,
give
they
them
just line
food.
up and then they get
Right.
their food in their car and then they drive away. They don't fill
Wow.
the seats or
Right.
perform at an
Right,
elite
it's not-
level for him,
Right,
for
like-
the team.
They'd come
Yeah.
like he could fill the stadium by sitting there and just talking to people. Although maybe now he
could now.
Well, it really is. I mean, it's he's mirroring the plantation owner mentality. I give them food and I give them a place to live.
All right, here is Charles Barkley. Here's
If
Charles.
somebody want to be racist, that's all right. That's their thing. But when you're in a position of power and you can take jobs and economic opportunity from people, that's what crosses the line. But we cannot have an NBA owner discriminating against a league that we're a black league, Ernie. We are a black league. I don't know the number, but I'd probably say 80% of our players are black.
That's about right, Sir Charles.
Donald Sterling. How come we can't ever get to play the Washington Generals on a schedule?
Here's the center of it all, Magic Johnson.
He shouldn't own a team anymore. And he should stand up and say, I don't want to own a team anymore, especially when you have African Americans renting his apartments, coming to the games, and playing for him, and coaching for him.
I think Mr. Sterling has got to think about this. Now, the NBA is going to have an announcement tomorrow about what to do here. But, Mr. Sterling may have lost a step if he's drunk, addled, and associating with people who are, going to record him and then release it to people. And he's got this sort of twisted mentality about whatever it is, drunken or not. I mean, everybody said something drunk that they didn't mean when they were sober, and they were sorry that they said. This guy's clearly,
yeah, and this is not the first time he's been. There have been stories about him saying ridiculous, racist, horrible, stupid, ignorant things. There have been stories going back for years about what a goofball this guy is.
But now here, the Trumpster has weighed in.
It's terrible. He got set up by a very bad girlfriend. Let's face it. That whole thing is she's called the girlfriend from hell.
So that's his angle on it, huh? He hates it when the mistress sells you out. Did he get around to commenting on the content?
Well, I don't know what you do. It's so bad, and she was baiting him, and she's a terrible human being, and he gave horrible answers and disgusting answers. And you're right, it's a private conversation, but it became very public, and it's a terrible thing for the league.
Yeah, it does.
He got around to saying it was terrible and horrible, disgusting stuff as well. I wanted to make sure we know what first thing that popped into his mind. I'm glad Barla didn't do that, or any of his other
ladies along the way. Yeah, it was on Fox and Friends, and I like how Fox and Friends. She was baiting him,
girlfriend
right?
from hell.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jeez.
All right, well, there's your around the world right there. Pardon the expression of the Donald Sterling circumstance. We'll find out what that's all about tomorrow. There'll be more on this.